President Biden said he would support the Federal Reserve and Fed Chair Jerome Powell in its effort to combat high inflation by slowing down the economy, and we're going to unpack what that means for you and your money. Hang out here for the next 3 minutes and I'll show you what to do with your money now. I promise it's surprisingly easy and extremely effective. So smash that subscribe button and let's do this. The president announced in an op-ed piece in the Wall Street Journal that he has Powell's back in this united front against inflation. So why did President Biden do that? Because it's confusing to people why we have inflation, why it can't be fixed quickly, and why would we want to intentionally slow down the economy. Joe Biden said it was likely that the pace of job growth could slow from a monthly pace of 500,000 jobs to around 150,000 as a necessary result of the Fed's efforts to combat high inflation. The most important thing we can do now to transition from rapid recovery to stable, steady growth is to bring inflation down, Joe Biden said. He also agreed with the Fed's assessment that fighting inflation is our top economic challenge right now. And we're all feeling the pain as prices are way up on, well, everything. From the gas station to home buying, markets are overheating and need to be cooled off. Oil is hovering around $120 a barrel. Gasoline is approaching $5 per gallon, and home prices are up 21% from a year ago, which happens to be a record high. That's crazy. This all happened because in the prior 2 years, we had a wave of easy money, which boosted economic growth and spending. Supply chain disruptions caused price increases across many industries and eventually across the board. A tight labor market meant people could quit their jobs and find a better paying one, which further boosted spending and economic growth. This perfect storm of events kept feeding inflation, and now we're in the situation today. To lower inflation, Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve are raising interest rates. Why? Because higher interest rates means higher borrowing costs, which ripple through the economy and ultimately leads to less spending and lower prices. Interest rates are being raised in monthly increments because if the Fed is too aggressive, it could slow the economy too much and into a recession. So instead, the Fed is trying to engineer a so-called soft landing, where interest rates are increased at a pace that brings down inflation and avoids a recession. So now you understand why Biden and Powell want to intentionally slow down the economy. It simply ran too hot for too long, and we need to just pump the brakes here and take a moment to light up that like button. The silver lining in all of this is that you have an opportunity to make some money. Since you're getting hammered every time you have to fill up at the pump, I want you to put 5% of your money into a commodities ETF that has exposure to oil. That way, if the price of oil keeps rising, at least you'll make money in your portfolio. A broad exposure to commodities will also help against losses at the grocery store, since you'll be invested in things like corn, wheat, coffee, cattle, and other raw materials used in the production of goods. Next, buy a total bond market index fund. As interest rates rise, bonds become more attractive relative to stocks, since they pay out monthly interest and are generally lower risk. Since Biden and Powell are committed to combat inflation, interest rates will continue to rise, so it's smart to invest in a bond index fund each month until inflation is no longer a problem. Last but not least, buy a total stock market index fund or an S&P 500 index fund each month. Why? Because over the long term, stocks outperform bonds and history shows that the market will bounce back if you're patient. Be smart here and pick up a great value while the market is gifting you a discount. Look, if you wanted to buy a 70-inch TV and you walked into Costco and there it was for 15% off, you'd be excited and you'd buy the TV. Now imagine the stock market was the 70-inch TV on sale for 15% off. Get excited about that and buy it. I had a blast talking with you today. And if you got value out of this video, please like and subscribe. Now watch my next video and I'll see you there.